Greetings and salutations, all. Welcome to session 55 of the Sphere of Power campaign. We are at a new juncture in the storyline at this point. The party has moved on through several chapters, and after restoring the river Athos to its original course and revealing the sect of worshippers that were infiltrating the oasis of the White Palm and gaining the favor of the local sheik, you are now enjoined in trying to find the princess who is meant to marry his eldest son. All in the grander scheme of things, trying to figure out exactly how to get to Martek's sphere of power so you can take on the Efreet Calatarius whom you guys released. Isn't that nice? But of course, this was all part of prophecy. Everyone is expecting you to do exactly as you have done, and you have gained the favor of quite a few people in the region. So, you guys are developing some good reputation. You're making a name for yourselves. Unfortunately, you're like what 1,500 miles away from your original starting point. So, yeah, sometimes it helps to start with a blank slate. I think a few of us can relate to that.
Mhm.
So, more recently, morale has taken somewhat of a hit after the normally stout and stoic Goliaths, along with the usually more grounded mage, were recently found scurrying from the local decor found in these ruins, like seals fleeing a pod of orcas. Now, to be fair, the open, sand-lined pit and the pristine yet ominous blue stone statue that stands over it has done more than just put a lump in each of your throats. For reasons still unknown, but likely suspected by the arcane skilled members of the party, this area has a definitely unnatural effect on those who enter. But there is some ironic comfort in the belief that this must be the place for which you had been searching, the crypt of Badr al-Mozak. Hopefully, here you hope to find the princess, or at least information that leads to her, and hope not to confirm that this is indeed where Calatarius has taken up residence. The latter likely not to endure any real discussion or debate. Taint of evil is strong here, both ancient and perhaps even renewed, enough to overwhelm the confidence of even Haig and Varric. Somehow, deep down, the Efreet is not far away. After nerves were calmed and reason had been restored, a brief investigation disclosed a draft coming from beneath the statue. A group effort to move the statue succeeded in doing so, but not without Feckish falling into the murky blackness into which it descended. Thankfully, a voice from the darkness gave relief that the cleric had survived, but now, understanding he was in a precarious position, another rescue operation was now in order. Retrieve the Dragonborn or follow him into the shaft. Hope you guys appreciated the melodramatic flair.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, my question is the sense of dread or fear coming from the statue itself or coming from the pit under the statue?
That is an excellent question. I believe it is the former, but let me confirm that.
And I just wanted to recap, all in all, the end of the day, the Dragonborn got shafted.
It yes, he did.
Yes, I did.
It is coming from the statue itself.
Okay, so having run away twice, do I have to make another save to come near the statue? Or I don't remember if I actually got anywhere near the statue or what towards the end of the session last time.
Quite honestly, I think we got to the point where we had sufficient comic relief from it and no permanent impact. So we just did a roll 20 kind of situation and said, yeah, eventually you guys are going to get over there.
Okay. Because if the question is, do we want to go down or do we want the Dragonborn to be up? Because if I can get down, I can always dimension door him back up. So. Because I've got a 500-foot range on that.
I will refrain from commenting because I believe that is a party question.
Yes. So are we all going down or do we just want him to come back up? Because if we just want him to come back up, I can jump down, hopefully not kill myself, and then dimension door him back up and we can leave.
Well, there's
I'm
an
not,
even,
I'm not sure the paladin would let us leave though. So
there's
I'm not sure the paladin would let us leave though. So
I
there's
think the only way is down, right? The only way forward is down.
that makes entire sense. I was just offering the option there.
My intent is to go down, even though I'm scared of going down. I want to figure out a way to get down.
gravity's always working.
Do we know
That's
about
true.
how far
Well,
down it is?
Per your example.
I light a torch, so hopefully that'll give you guys a bearing or references the distance between where you're at and where I'm at.
All right.
If I remember right, it was an estimate of roughly 90 feet.
Trying to see if I've got rope. I know Taylor has that magic rope. If
Well,
that's
she
still
can
around.
also fly.
Yes. So if the magic rope is long enough, we can use that to get down and then have it release itself and come down to us.
Okay, the magic rope is not long enough. It's 60 feet, or if we tell it to put knots in itself, then it shrinks to 50 feet. But
I have a 50-foot hempen rope in my pack.
I have 50 feet. It might be hemp, it might be silk, I can't remember. And of course, we can always have it tie itself to something and everybody but me go down, and then and have it tied to another rope so that you can all reach the bottom, and then I can just fly down.
Yeah, I think the brothers have rope too. So if we need to combo the rope.
Yeah, we've
And just
got
put
enough
hers at the
rope,
end.
and yeah, and I can, I can stay up top to untie the rope so we don't lose anything.
If we're talking about going down, we should put your rope attached to something at the top and then command it to let go, right? We can retrieve all our rope, or how do you want to do that?
She can fly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Right,
it doesn't matter
right.
because I can fly, but Keith has made it clear that the person using the command word has to be actually touching the magic rope in order for the magic
good
rope
point.
to work. So it doesn't matter which rope we have to anchor it at the top. I just have to fly down. Okay, I have to mute myself for a minute so I can talk to my mom, and then I will be back. 1 moment, please.
All right. So while you guys are debating and Fekish is investigating the area, you hear a sound come from above his head, but which would barely be audible to those of you above, but some of you do pick it up. But to Fekish, it's a very clear sound of metal on stone. And it's kind of a and it only occurs once.
Like
Have we
something.
dropped the rope yet?
Huh?
Were we in the process of dropping the rope? And if so, did it like cut it in half or something?
Um, as you're lowering the rope. But you don't feel anything on the rope.
Does the rope feel lighter?
Or did the bottom of the rope fall on Fekish's head?
Well, you drop. So, okay. So Fekish falls into the pit. He gets down there. He screams up or shouts up that, he's okay. It's dark. You light it. Did you pull yourself up yet, Fekish?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So you lit the torch. About the time that you light the torch, basically, is when you hear that sound from above you. And again, it's more of a metal on stone sound.
How far above estimate?
10, maybe 20 feet most.
So roughly 60 to 70 feet from the top.
Correct.
Okay.
Probably even more. Because you guys have figured out, at least as you're doing this, that the distance between the two of you is more than one length of 60-foot rope.
Well, originally you said I estimated about 90 feet drop.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what you estimated, but you're not going to say, well, I think it was maybe about 70, 80 feet. They drop the rope and go, can you reach it? No. All right. We need a longer rope.
65.3 feet.
So who's going down the rope first? That's the question.
And Fekish, to be honest, you would probably be asking yourself, well, was I the only one who heard that?
Yeah, true.
Or probably even more along the lines of, what the fuck was that?
Well, if I only heard it once, I don't know. I'd have to replicate it to get a better sense of it.
Okay. All right. So unless there's anything to interject, you guys have a bit of a discussion, and then I missed it, but are you using two pieces of rope, or did you have a longer piece of rope?
Yeah, I have 50-foot hempen rope and tie it to the end of the magic rope, and that gives us enough room to get down, I believe.
Got you. All right. And so which end are you holding on to? Are you holding the magic rope and dropping the hemp rope to Fekish, or are you holding the hemp rope and dropping the magic rope to Fekish?
I don't know that it matters.
Should I roll?
Does anybody care?
If you can fly down, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. I was gonna say too, my hands were busy. I'll go first.
Oh, you're going to fly it down? Or are you dropping it down?
Well, her flying down would get a better estimation of distance.
Yes, this is true.
Oh, that's
I
true.
can do that.
That way we could figure out if it's in truly 90 feet or 60 feet.
Of course, I'm currently at the top of the amphitheater, having not come down yet. So somebody
so
would
they
have
don't
to,
even actually have your rope yet.
correct.
No rope for you.
All right. So yeah, you guys are going to have to color on down to the shaft if you're going to make use of that rope. All right. All you need are coffee shots this morning.
Yeah. Do we have
Uh-huh.
do we have a map for this
Not the
amphitheater area?
for the amphitheater area. No, not really.
Okay.
Really not too much detail here. And to be honest with you, it's more of an entryway.
Okay. That's fine.
There is a map where Fekish is at.
Yes, I can see that on the shared screen. But I was just wondering because I had double clicked my token and it brought up the complex under the obelisk. So,
Yeah, I think that's the last place your tokens were.
yep.
So I can reread the description of the area again, if that will be helpful, though.
That might be helpful.
Okay. At close range, it is possible to tell that the statue is not the towering menace that it appeared to be from the distance. Instead, it is only 10 feet tall, of one piece, with the 3-foot tall base on which it stands. Though much smaller than it once appeared, it is no less menacing. Fear flows and ebbs from its surface like the waves of the rising tide. Each new wave breaks upon the mind, sending chills up the spine, bringing cold sweat to the brow, and releasing a rivulet of terror from the underarms. The stomach quakes, and the feet have nearly uncontrollable desire to flee. A thing of nightmares, the statue glares from beneath a pharaoh's headdress. Robes gathered in one arm, it clenches a scepter in the other. Neither time nor weather has dared to face the almost perfectly smooth surface of the midnight blue stone. The feet of the statue pass seamlessly into the broad curve of the base, which miraculously is free of dust or sand. The scalloped edge of the base marks an ominous contrast to the dead white marble platform atop which the statue stands. The platform has 3 broad steps above the floor of the amphitheater. Arrayed around it are the seats of the amphitheater, 10 in all, rising to the level of the broken pillars. So I will have to agree, in hindsight, this is probably an area that probably should have had some kind of visual representation.
Okay.
If for no other reason to make you think that there's more here.
Yeah, doesn't necessarily need to be a full tactical battle map, but a picture.
Yep,
would
no,
be
I get that.
sufficient.
And I like to try to throw in pictures where and when I can.
Pictures are nice.
Yeah, they
Even
help give a
theaters
feel.
and mind games, pictures are nice just to set the mood.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm up by the broken pillars at the top, maybe a little bit outside that circle. Watching all of you guys down in the middle by the statue. Waiting for you to signal that I should attempt to come down or for something to happen that I need to react to.
Or that you need, the rest of you need something from her.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
Sorry
Jim,
about the whining in the background.
that's okay.
Puppy
That's the
wants
dog.
to go back upstairs and he's not allowed.
Okay, so Jim and Ms. and Dan, how do you want to coordinate or consolidate?
So Kaylee is still up in the stands, but the rest of us are crowded around the hole. Is that pretty much where we're at?
Yep.
Well, I would say both Haig and Varick have rope too. If Kaylee is still up in the stands and not willing to come forward, we've got enough rope. We just tie a rope off to the leg of the statue and drop it down.
Okay. So, and it's
Yeah, we've got
250.
bumping rope and whatever else. So yeah.
It's 2 50-foot lengths, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we tie the pieces of rope together. And who's tying the knot? Just out of curiosity.
I'm a wizard. I don't do knots. So it's not me.
I not do do's though either.
I would assume that Haig, being an outdoors type person, would be really versed in proper knots and whatnot. So
Any
I would
objection?
probably hand the ropes to him and see if he could do a good knot.
Just to clarify, that's the other game.
Excuse me, real.
I'm outdoorsy in the other game. This game, I'm just
okay.
He's a
Yeah,
rock-
yeah,
he's a
he-
rock
he
lover.
plays a character. He plays a character with the same name, so I always get him confused.
Well, that's understandable. But yeah,
Would-
as a rock dweller, I don't think many things in his world are that pliable.
Would you like the just Druid to give a tribe time or not?
Yeah, that's a choice for the rest of
If
you.
you're
not
there,
for me.
yeah, absolutely.
Are you again? I hate having to ask this all the time, but are you in humanoid form right now?
I am in human form. As much as I wanted to push that stone statue in weasel form, you needed me in elf form at the time.
That's right. Yep. But the weasel was
silly, but-
actually. I should have put some reference to the weasel inside the message of the day. Sorry,
Still a
that,
pretty
that
great
was
pick.
hilarious.
No, it's okay. I will attempt to
Feckish
try
riding the
rank.
weasel.
Sounds kinky.
The whole episode was kinky. On no small part due to you, Albie. You know.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so we have knot. We have knot and rope. Rope is being dropped down the well. End of rope reaches Dragonborn. Dragonborn sees rope. What does Dragonborn do with rope?
Nothing.
Nothing. You just watch it dangle there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hold the rope if somebody's coming down the rope. Other than that, not much I can do.
Okay.
Is there anything
So-
I can secure it to? How much rope do I have left once it has reached my destination?
So let's see. It was 250-foot ropes. Was that correct? Or 60-foot?
250 foot, I believe.
Okay. So yeah, you have about an extra 10 feet worth of rope coming down past the ledge you are on.
Anything that I can secure it to?
Not within range of the 10 feet, really.
Figure this much. Okay then. Well, I will do my best to
The
hold the rope.
statues that you're seeing at either end of the hallways that you have
20
visibility of are probably, what, about 20 feet down?
That would be my guess.
And the angle of the dome and the arches into each of those passageways don't really allow for you to take full advantage of just pulling it straight across.
Yeah, I dig it.
So with that being said, the rope hangs there. Back up top, you guys don't feel any kind of tension or movement or anything on it. You just feel the free hanging rope. So what's next?
Okay.
Who's going down first? The wizard usually is not first.
Coward.
Well, we
You have
established
to go
down
that
first.
last session.
You have robes, jump over like Mary Poppins and float down.
Look, everyone, I'm Mary Poppins.
I can toss a fireball down to cushion the landing.
That would be a bit hydraulic, wouldn't it? And incendiary too.
I said I'll go down first.
You know, heat
Gosh,
generates.
that would
lit-
actually be exactly like a human bullet being launched out of a firearm, a vertical firearm.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, depending on how much volume of mass or of vacant space is in the shaft below where I'm at. So
And how much surrounding area there is between him and the shaft. But in principle, it's the same idea.
yes, in theory, everything works.
Now, would it be really interesting if we suddenly cast an enlarged spell on him and had him fill up the shaft just before?
Yes.
Sorry, being creative. All right. So who's climbing down first? God, so much volunteerism today.
Haig already said he was going to go first.
Okay, sorry. So Haig is
Hey,
on his.
I'm not there right now, so
Can you guys
you're
hear
not.
me?
Yes, we can.
I was gonna say though, I said twice in this conversation too. I'll go down first.
I did hear you, but unfortunately, I have to look up at the Zoom screen in order to see who's talking at any
Gotcha.
given moment. And if I don't, if you're talking a sentence, I usually can catch you. But if I just said I'm going down or me or yes, it usually doesn't stay on long enough for me to figure out. Okay,
We'll go third person. Haig will go down first.
That does make it a lot easier for me, unfortunately. But yeah, it also adds to the narrative a bit. All right, so thank you, Dan. My apologies. Haig heads on down, grabs the rope, starts going hand over hand, And a few seconds down, maybe 10, 15 feet down into the well, you feel a tug on the rope. About this same time, Fekish hears the again, and about 20 feet of the rope disappears and drops down the other side of the shaft.
All right then. I only know what that sound is now.
Yeah, I think at that point it would be pretty obvious. So, but just as a refresher, Haig, you don't really have any visibility of it other than something was pulling at the rope beneath you. And you're not sure if that was a snag or if someone was trying to message you something or if you should just ignore it and
And
proceed.
I will holler up, there's a blade trap coming across the shaft.
And let's see. Yeah, based on the length of the rope and the sound that came across. Yeah, you're going to say it probably was about 20 to 25 feet above you.
Yeah, the shaft is trapped.
So Haig, are you going to proceed down or are you going to make adjustments?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Post haste.
All right, so you head on down the rope and you're going to estimate that probably it's a good 70 to 80 feet of rope that you traverse before you reach the end. And by the time you get down to that point, you're still, you're not holding on to the very tip end of the rope, but there's probably about another 5 feet of rope left. And you can see Fekish kind of on the shaft that you're in, and the shaft that he's standing on is the same diameter. So you don't really have a clear shot down to the ledge that he's on, but you can see the ledge that he's standing on. But basically, yeah, given the length of the rope, there's not exactly room to swing. So you're going to have to do a pretty good acrobatic flip in order to get from where the rope ends and get yourself under the dome and over to the ledge.
And preparing to grab.
And yet, just to point out, which should be obvious, but Fekish, not knowing the situation, was able to grab on, albeit barely.
Sorry, there's a lot of conversation going on. So I have to, not only is there a little bit of rope gone, but I have to swing over to a ledge.
Yeah, there's about 10 feet of rope missing between the bottom of the rope and the ledge that Albie is on. Or sorry, Fekish
Well, that's
is on.
perfect because I'm 9 foot, so there's only 1 foot missing.
Well, then you're going to literally be holding on to the very end of the rope, and he's still going to probably be pulling you over to the ledge.
And the trap is going to be going.
Yeah, you don't know how much time you have between passing that point and getting pulled over.
Right. How often does the whoosh whoosh happen?
You've only heard it twice, so it's difficult to determine a pattern based on that. But yeah, presumably you waited for it a third time after figuring it out what it was the second time, and it hasn't gone off again.
I have 2.
Well,
actually,
so I'm at the bottom of the thing at this point.
Have you both do an insight check?
All right. I am still outside a game. I am just finished with breakfast. Let me get, if you can roll this one, I'll get logged in. And
I can do that.
I'll be
Albie,
able
you
to
want
do
to
the
go ahead
rest.
and roll your
Yeah.
insight? And where's your skills? I got skills, man.
Skills to pay the bills.
I believe I am insightful.
Well, Haig certainly isn't, and that does seem appropriate because you have encountered it at least one more time than he has.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
based on what you've seen so far, you're suspecting it's a delayed trigger. But what the trigger is, you don't know.
I'm good.
And just to clarify, Albie is on a ledge, not on the bottom of the shaft.
Correct. The shaft
So it keeps
continues
going
down
down.
past him into the darkness. You do not know how much further.
Oh, very good. So you can't just jump, you might miss.
Yes.
Well, he didn't get fully shafted.
Right.
Not yet.
Just the tip.
I don't know. I think he's pretty deep in.
Oh boy.
Hey, you went down that route.
And
Let's
this is
get
why
deep.
it's a child's game. Yeah.
I gotta put my boots on.
Yeah. Okay. I guess it's a little late to warn any viewers. This is not a family-friendly episode.
Would say not. Why isn't my monitor working?
Yeah. And just to point out, Dan, it's probably not a difficult jump for you to do over, to flip over to the inside of the ledge, but it's not
Yeah.
something to be taken for granted either. It's like,
I've
okay,
never
yeah,
done
this
that.
looks okay, but I only can do it once, and if I screw up, I don't know where I'm going.
Right.
Never underestimate the color of your dice.
And to be fair, you guys also are a little bit more or a little bit less gung-ho than usual after your recent impression of the statue. You're still kind of shaking that off. You're like, okay, there's more down here that's gonna F with us.
Oh, why is my computer stuck on welcome spinny?
Ruh-roh.
There we go.
Gremlins.
Okay.
They will mess with you whenever they can.
I swear I booted this up this morning. So that way it was nice and warm. Anyway. Yeah, I have all intentions to start swinging and work my way over towards Albie if he's still got his torch going and not a whole lot of sound
Yepper.
communication. I have no idea what's down here or what can hear us. So I'm going to be quiet and just try to work my way over to the ledge once this boots up.
And actually, that brings up another good question. So yes, you can hang from the length of the rope from the very tip if you choose to. But remember, the rope is the length of wherever the blade chopped it. So if
Right.
any part of you is below the end of the rope, you're potentially in striking range of a blade that could
Of
be
the blade.
a sword. It could be a scythe that crosses the whole shaft. You don't know the
Right.
length and size of it. So yes, you could just hang from the end, but you figure you're going to have to do that last 15 feet pretty quickly.
Okay. And his torch reaches so I can kind of
You
keep
can
my
see
eyes
cle-
out in
yeah, you
case I
can
have to
see
let go
clearly.
and risk.
Yeah, you can see
Yeah.
clearly. We're not going to say that there's any problem with illumination at the moment.
All right. Well, we'll have to see what kind of reaction time I have in case things come out of the wall. Can I see any slits in the? Can I see any slits or buttons at the blade level?
That's a good question. Let's see.
For what it's worth, I'm going to go to one of the statues and try to secure my 50 feet of silk rope and let the other end hang down the shaft as a secondary in case he misses the ledge.
Not a bad idea, but I am going to
Not a
ask you
bad
to be more
idea.
specific about which statue.
I would go for the one that would be to my east.
Okay. Yeah, the one on the along the passage that you're on now, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So let's see. As you approach that statue, at the far end of this corridor, which is 10 feet wide and 20 feet long, a statue stands carved into the back wall. Each of its 4 arms holds silver bows with arrows at the ready.
Oh, fantastic.
So are you going to proceed to those statues? Or
Maybe
that
not.
statue?
No, I think not. I'll wait. I will be prepared with my bullwhip and stand by the ledge.
That's a good idea. God, I haven't seen you use your whip in a while.
Good thinking, Indiana.
That's why I have it.
I got to tell you guys, in real life, he's really good with it too.
Sweet.
I bought 3 for $1 a foot in Mexico a zillion years ago, and I've killed 2, learning how to keep the third one alive. And I've had it for 25 something years.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a fun little play.
All right. So, Haig, since this pretty much all depends on your timing, I will let you dictate the sequence of events as you intend for them to happen.
Well played.
Okay. If we can take 30 seconds, I just updated and I'm logging in.
No problem.
Let's see.
Logging into the game or logging into the system?
Into the game.
Gotcha. Okay, so it should be pretty quick.
Yep.
Excuse me.
And Matt did say something in Discord a few minutes ago saying he'll be on soon.
Cool.
Fortunately, the two Goliaths seem to complement each other, not just in skills and interaction, but also in terms of who's available and when.
Yeah, right. Luckily, my Saturdays are fairly open. It's gotten to be a busy end of the year here. You know, I've
But
got friends.
I love when the two of you were able to actually both play together, but it seems so rare and far in between lately. It's like, are you sure you guys are brothers? Do I need to reintroduce you two?
I'm pulling up a whole bunch of errors. Network receive file.
They are log messages, not errors.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the
Very
same
good.
thing. All of us-
Just ignore them.
Yeah, I think all of us are getting them on the newer versions, and they're just meant to either be debugs or they by default decided to make that stuff more visible for now. But they don't appear
Okay.
to actually be crashing or function limiting errors.
There was one error in there about critically awesome essentials.
About which?
Critically
About-
awesome essentials, the
Oh,
Druid wild shape one.
well, that one always has issues, but I probably need to update that.
All right. So I
Probably.
guess how do you want to do it? Do you want to do like a roll with a combination of a percentile die, or how do you think you would want to do this?
Oh, for how you're going to do this, it's going to be a straight dexterity check.
Okay.
Or
Well, the
I guess
dexterity.
you could do an acrobatics skill if you want to. Athletics. What athletics? Yeah, I'll let you
Athletics
choose
is strength. Yeah. One's a +7 and one's a -2. So
With the +7.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, this definitely isn't a straight athletic. I'd have to go with the acrobatics, and then I won't feel the
Okay.
need to apply a penalty.
yeah. So but there's a major discrepancy between the two. There's a 9-point difference
Well,
between.
let's put it this way: if you were just trying to jump across the shaft from one end to the other, athletics, no problem. But this is going to
This is-
require some skill.
All right.
You're going to be channeling Legolas. Pucker up.
So that's a 0.
Ooh. Okay. So needless to say, you didn't catch the ledge. You
so
slipped
I
off the
rolled-
side. You probably with that 0 are far enough away that you're not going to get much of a grip on the ledge on your own, but let's give you a chance to get a 20 or even a 19. Let's see if maybe by some rare shot you are able to get a grip on the edge as you fall past it.
Okay.
If not,
Um,
Fekish is ready with the bullwhip.
Yeah.
So I hope you're ready for his weight.
So do you
Yeah.
want to make that one a dex or a strength?
That one's going to be, like I said, I'm going to let you roll a 19 or a 20, so it really doesn't apply. It's only if you get a really high roll that you're going to save yourself.
Oh, so you just want me to do a regular
Just a
regular
straight,
D20?
straight 20 side die.
Okay. Let's see. Oh my gosh, my mouse is being dumb. Let's do that.
Yeah, 6 is not going to cut it even with a +7. So, all right, Fekish, you're up.
What am I rolling to do what?
Decide
So
if you're
let's
gonna
see.
let him fall. Depends how nice he's been to you.
That's definitely a question on the table at the moment. But in terms of you do to proceed, choose to proceed, do you have proficiency with the whip?
I don't know if it actually calls for proficiency or not.
It
I
is a
don't
weapon.
remember if it does. I'd have to look that up.
I'm going to say, for the sake of argument and knowing you as your character, that you either have it or it's something that you've developed along the way.
Okay.
So, with that being said, you do have the skill to pull off something like that, as opposed to just blindly hitting at them and hoping that you do damage. But still, it's going to be some kind of skill check. I would say it's going to be based on acrobatics. Also, well, acrobatics or sleight of hand? Acrobatics. Yeah, think of a
Okay.
circus. You think of a circus master with the whip.
Yes, probably.
All right, so you do not manage to ensnare him. That being said, it still is close enough for Haig to have one last chance at trying to grab the whip as it strikes past him, probably slaps him in the face in the process.
Still which roll? Same roll?
No, this one would probably be straight athletics this time, because you just got to grab and hold on. There's no
Are you kidding me?
Damn.
All right.
Ouch.
You guys had plenty of chances. Unfortunately, Haig is falling down the shaft. Let's
Sweet.
see. So you're not falling the
Wow.
first 90 feet, which is good. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da.
I still think my fireball idea would have worked good.
Clark isn't already at the bottom of this hole, is he?
No, just me.
Okay, cool.
The question, the most important question, Dan, is what is Haig screaming as he is falling down the shaft?
I can't scream. I don't know what's in the shaft.
Darkness, pure darkness. All right, Haig, you've got one more roll to make in this case. This is going to determine the severity of damage that you take from the 90-foot fall. There's another 90 feet between you and the whatever is below. So go ahead and roll a dexterity check. A successful dexterity check will reduce the number of damage dice by 1.
I don't have any decks. So
Yep. I know, but you never know. But it's a question of whether or not you land on your feet or you land on your skull.
I was gonna say change your dice color.
Yeah.
that is funny. It is different than what my dice color is actually different than what I usually use.
Oh, they've updated the
But-
dice mod. There's like a whole bunch of new skins and stuff for it, and they are easier to see. And they've included an actual percentage die down at the bottom now too. So they made some changes. All right.
Oh,
So
yeah, no kidding.
unfortunately, not enough to save you from the additional damage, which means that you are going to take a total of 14 points from the fall.
Splat.
All right, that's not terrible.
Well,
There's
if you
no
had
bouncing
fallen
in
from
it.
the full height, it probably would have been more than twice that. Thankfully, you didn't have enough time to build up that much terminal velocity. But so
Between the
now
two-
let's see. We have a Goliath down in the darkness. You do have some degree of dark vision, don't you? The Goliaths.
I have my monocle.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you might have to put it on, but you should at least be able to see. And unfortunately, it's just a jagged pit down below. Nothing's really been carved or anything. Just the shaft has been opened up, and you could have been less lucky. There are a couple of stalagmites down there that could have impaled you. You managed not to land on one of them, but
There we go.
you did get scraped up a little bit. One of them did jab into your calf, maybe about a quarter, half of an inch. So you got a nice little gouge over there. No broken bones, but yeah, you definitely got scraped up a bit on the bottom of that. Other than that, the walls around you are very rough hewn. They should be easy enough to scale or climb even without any climbing apparatus. But they are inclined in such a way that you wouldn't have been able to grab onto them as you fell. So you have one Goliath down at the bottom of the shaft. You have your Dragonborn cleric sitting on a ledge somewhere in the middle with at least one statue pointing arrows at him. And the rest of you up top in the amphitheater.
I slowly turn my head towards the wizard and go, "Well, I take it you up next."
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we've got half the shaft has the rope running down it. And then if you miss the jump, then you fall. That's pretty much where we're at.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, and of course, I should point out, though this would have been obvious, well, maybe not so obvious, especially not to Haig, but yes, Feckish, about 6 to 8 seconds after Haig tries to make the jump, you hear the again.
Okay.
okay. All right. Well, I will follow along. I assume we've communicated that there is some sort of a trap in the middle of this, so we've got to stay above the end of the rope. So I will slide
I would
down.
I'd say Kaylee is the only one who's not aware of it because she's been watching from afar, but I think the rest of you have either heard it or heard what Feckish has shouted back up.
I will grab onto the rope. I will turn to Kaylee and say, point down, say we're going down, and then drop over the edge and let myself down until my feet are about even with the end of the rope. And then if Feckish has the torch lit, then I can see the ledge that he's on. And
you can kind of see the torchlight coming from below. It does kind of reach that far. I mean, it's not brightly illuminating the area, but you can see the source of the light. And you can kind of see a little ring around him that that is the visible portion of the ledge through the shaft.
I'm assuming as I let myself down, though, if I let myself down to where my feet are just above the end of the rope, aren't I only like 10 feet away from him?
Yes. But again, once you pass the distance of the rope, you're putting yourself into length of whatever cut the rope. So
right,
realistically,
exactly. Yeah. So I'm just above that.
Right. So yeah, realistically, you're holding the rope about 6 feet from the end, and your feet are dangling even with the end of the rope, maybe an inch or two above.
All right. So I am going to swing back and forth a little bit until I get in his direction. Takes a few swings to get a little bit of motion going, and then I will attempt to jump and land where on his platform.
But just to remind you, the shaft is the same width below and above. So the ledge doesn't really cut in. You are having to jump in through a dome that doesn't allow you to swing as far as you'd like. So
Right,
it is
exactly.
a
Yes.
tricky jump. It is definitely an acrobatic jump. I do want to
Okay.
point out one detail though that I just realized that may or may not have a difference, but it is definitely something that is noticeable to KLE. So as we pointed out, you're in an amphitheater. Most of you know amphitheaters are really good with amplifying sound.
Mhm.
KLE, you have noticed that while the people above and around the statue have been talking, even when they're whispering, you can hear them crystal clear. However, the voices,
Oh.
what you do hear coming up out of the well or the shaft
Mhm.
have like a delayed reverb. And the result is that even though you can hear the sound coming from Albie and now Haig when they talk, there's some kind of really eerie audible delay and reverb that makes it almost impossible for you to understand what they're saying. And the volume is a bit muted, but you can hear the sound that's kind of like a repeating
Interesting.
reverbing through the amphitheater. And the rest of them don't hear that being in the center. Only being in the seats can you hear their voices clearly and that reverb sound coming from the shaft.
Very interesting.
So what do I roll?
Roll to see if I make it.
That's an acrobatics check.
Oh.
Oh,
Awesome.
I'm coming down, Haig.
Coming down fast. All right, same sequence of events now. So now you get a chance to see if you can grab onto the edge as you fall past it.
Is that acrobatic?
Athletics or athletics?
That is going to be athletics. Oh, no, we said acrobatics on that one, right?
Yeah.
Right. To catch the ledge.
Oh, no, catch the ledge was athletics. Never mind. Because, yeah, that
No,
was
catch the ledge. No, catch the ledge was acrobatics. The athletics was being able to grab at
the
Albie's
whip, the bull whip.
whip.
Okay, that's right.
Okay.
Still good.
All right, well, I'll roll
And I
my
still-
acrobatics
but I
then to catch the ledge. I'm not doing well though.
No, you're not.
It's like there's a limit to how high we can roll today. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
And
it's,
I've already done my athletics, so I'm falling. How
No,
far do I
not quite
fall?
yet.
What do I
There's
gotta-
still one more chance because presuming that Freckles is on the go, ready to go, he still has a chance to catch you with his whip.
And that was acrobatics. But yes.
Yes. No. That was a I thought that was a
Okay.
skill check.
Yeah. You said acrobatics.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that probably should have just been straight up in a weapon attack, but go ahead.
So you want me to do
Yeah, do an
Let's
attack.
check
Do
it.
an
Attack with the whip.
Yeah, do an attack with the whip.
I made some bulldog dice, Jim. Let's see.
It also probably doesn't fully apply either because he's a willing
That will-
recipient too.
Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do.
So many on-the-fly decisions you have to make in this game. I don't mind doing it, but I always get hung up in making sure I'm consistent.
Whoops. No, it's not what I want to do. How the hell do I attack with my whip?
Go to your
Uh,
actions page.
It's in
It'll
my
show up
inven-
at the top.
Top on your actions page if you have it equipped.
Yeah, you know what? Just go ahead and do the acrobatic roll.
All right.
It'll be consistent and they'll
Bloody hell.
I still
What's
have
the
my
17?
Fling poo attack from when I was a monkey. Would that help?
Yeah.
All right, so I hate to say it, but in all honesty, yeah, you're falling at this point also. So
Yeah, I
once
already
Rolled
again,
my athletics check and failed that. So, okay,
Yep.
roll the 2d10 and see how much damage I take.
no, you actually
Do
you get to roll your dex check one more time to see whether or not basically you're landing on your feet or on your face.
Okay.
Hold on. Do
Very
I have
good.
my monocle on yet? Was I allowed to put my monocle on yet?
I don't know. Did you? Are we trying to see
I
if you
would've-
have it permanently implanted in your skull?
No, if it was dark, I probably would have put it around to see. And I'm gonna roll to see if I can catch him.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, you had time to put your monocle on in that case. But he actually
Ooh.
did manage to. Okay, he's falling upright. So Now
I totally do the 3-point Iron Man landing.
All right, so I'll assist to aid him in any damage he would have taken from the fall.
Yeah, I was basically going to say,
Depending on how
so if
far it
you do
was.
a successful assist, it'll half his damage. And so let's see. Oh yeah, you take 1 point of damage from the fall.
Sweet.
Not a problem.
Very good.
And that would go to Redreth. Where's your character sheet?
I added it.
Oh, you
I
already got
added
it in there.
myself.
One wound point. So, well, you prove to be the very capable faller.
Is that
Catch.
Now, I would definitely say that qualifies as the superhero landing. Nailed it. And you know, I'd probably have to say that Hig, you're impressed.
Yeah, I look at him and whatever.
Or
Yeah, you
or
don't have
from
to
the
admit it, but deep down, you're impressed. He stuck that pretty damn good.
Or like from The Office, parkour.
All right, so we now have 2 of you down at the bottom, 1 of you in the middle, and 3 of you up top still. Is that right? Kaylee,
Yes.
Ms. and Varric are still up top.
How deep is this hole?
90 feet to Feckish and another 90 feet to where you guys are.
Oh, okay. And there's a rope down to Feckish?
Down to about 10
Most of the way.
feet above him.
Down to where the cutting trap is.
Hmm.
That
What
cut
did I
off
put
the
here?
end of the rope.
Ah, nice. Yeah,
Just
so
to keep you guys
Varric
on
will
your
try and
toes.
climb down.
Well, glad you can make it.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, but I am going to say we need to take our let's try to keep it to a 5-minute break or
Okay.
10 past the hour, and then we'll get going again. If you guys want to get Matt up to speed and figure out how you're going to group up and exactly where. Just a reminder, the statue that is looking at Feckish, or Feckish is looking at, does have 4 what appear to be silver arrows pointed at him. So that may not be the best corridor to choose. Anyway, going on mute and see you guys in about 7 minutes.
Sounds good. 7 minutes.
I'm going to charge my earphones, so I will log back in 7 minutes.
Very good. Did you stay on, Matt?
Yeah, I'm still here.
So I got Wilford Brimley. Did I tell you yet?
No,
Yeah, last
you
Friday.
got the betas?
Diagnosed with diabetes.
Man, type 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A1C is 10.1. My
Dang.
yeah, and my blood sugar started off 276 at the doctor's office. Next day, 274. Day 3, I jumped up to 300.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, then I started getting down. I started changing my diet right away. So I
Right,
went
for
from
sure.
my size 6'2" at 200. When I was 274 pounds, I had to have 32 to 3,400 calories a day to sustain my weight. So I started punching my info into my Samsung Health app. Said I wanted to lose a pound. I was at 258 when I started.
Damn.
So I said I wanted to lose, because I've been losing a little bit, but some people said because my body isn't regulating sugar, my weight
Right.
loss could be actually sugar related and not diet related. Anyway, so I was at 258 when I started. I set my Samsung app to go a pound a week, and it said I needed 2155 calories. So I've been
Dang.
I've been staying around 2155 calories. My father said for his size, he's 5'8", and I don't know how much he weighs, but he said his diabetes, his goal per meal is around 52 grams of carbs.
Mhm.
So I figured, he's way bigger or way smaller than I am. if I
Right.
follow his regiment, I should be doing pretty good. They're
Bro,
supposed to
like
set
things
me
like keto and stuff is perfect for diabetes. Like that's the only types of people I would ever recommend the keto diet to.
So when I was talking to Adam, he said he didn't want me to do keto because a lot of the time, even though it's good for diet,
Mhm.
it's so
You have to be
restrictive that
super
people don't
strict.
stay
Yeah.
right. People don't stick with it.
And dude, if you break, if you're like fucking on it for like 2 or 3 weeks and then you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna have a slice of pizza.
Yeah,
Dude,
resets it.
you'll go in the fucking kick you out of ketosis and you'll have like flu-like symptoms.
Right.
Like it sucks.
Yep.
But yeah, that's one of the only ones, like things like Atkins, like those low carb diets, man. Like unless you really need to, there's no reason to fucking limit yourself. Just control your calories like you're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, fuck.
Yeah, and I've been saying this stuff to Sherry too. She's like, "No, you need to try to go, net zero.
Mm,
Just
it's
cut
hard, dude,
everything
and it
out." And I'm
sucks.
like, "I can't because I'm gonna get
Yeah.
irritated and I'm just gonna say, let me die."
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. You have to find the happy medium
Right.
where you can deal with
So
what you're doing and fucking not die.
and make it a long term. Right. I need it to be long
Right.
term. So yeah. So anyway, dude, Friday to Friday, I've lost 11 pounds.
Hell yeah, bro. Dude, that shit's gonna
So
happen. Like people thought there was something really wrong with me, and I'm like, no, I just changed my diet. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's a big change to go from fuck how much milk I used to drink and cheese and ice cream and shit to nothing
Yeah. I
and just
had to
straight
cut milk
water.
out. I'm
Yep.
measuring out a glass of milk and I'm having like a glass or two a day.
Fuck,
Maybe
bro.
3.
That's
But still,
gonna make a big difference.
it's huge.
But
It's
it's
huge. Dude,
also
11
that's
pounds.
that's a lot of calories you're consuming too. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
drinking calories instead of eating them.
Oh yeah, I had to cut out all the soda.
Yeah, bro.
So soda, milk,
Yeah.
I'm getting right down. But anything over 10 with your A1C is organ damaging numbers.
No shit, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, big change, man. So
Yeah,
I've been
dude.
trying to watch my stuff. I'm taking crap. I forgot to take my meds this morning. I'm just gonna take them now.
Yeah.
So I'm taking metformin. I'm taking prednisone because I've got my nasal polyp. I finally went into the ENT, and he's got me on prednisone to try to shrink my nasal polyp so he can actually see and make a diagnosis of how he's going to attack that.
Man.
So good
Damn.
times there.
Yeah, bro. Fuck.
Oh, dude, he had this little camera, dude, that wasn't any wider than a piece of spaghetti.
No
And
shit.
he still couldn't get it past my nasal polyp. Like he barely got it to slide past it.
Wow.
He said it's the size of a marble.
Damn.
Yeah.
I've got my pulmonologist appointment finally on Monday, which is nice. Yeah. They found scar tissue in my lungs last year.
Really?
And they were like, that's not like us sugarcoating potential cancer. They're like, yeah, that shit looks different. Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, thank you. Cause that was my first question. We're like, okay, are you just sugarcoating something that like I'm dying?
Right.
And he was like, no, it's actually, have you ever gone camping in this state, and this state? And I was like, no. And he was like, huh, where have you traveled? And I told him, and he was like, did you go to this park? And I was like, no. But I guess there's this fungus that grows in some states. And that's one of those things, when you go to Letchworth and it says don't burn wood from out of state. That's why. Because this fungus gets everywhere. And then when you burn it, when you breathe it in, it fucking grows in your lungs and fucks you up.
What?
Yeah.
Dude,
Burning it doesn't kill it.
No, I have no idea. They said burning it. Yeah, that's how I could have got it, was burning something with this fungus on it. Like, and I was like, no, I've never fucking been to like northern Ohio. Fucking miss it. Like, and it wasn't like consecutive states. It was like all over. And I was like, no.
What fungus is this?
I don't even remember. I'd have to dig out my fucking documents because it's a specific kind of scar tissue that they found in my lungs.
Huh.
And
Wonder
they're
if
like,
it's
yeah, if
anything
you
to
have,
do with valley fever.
I don't know. But I was like, could it have been caused by COVID? And they're like, we have no idea. Because my first bout of COVID, seriously, I thought my lungs like were collapsing for days. Like my lungs were fucked from my first round of COVID.
COVID was relatively easy on my lungs, and strangely enough, I think that all of my other smoking in the past has actually made my lungs more tolerant to crap like that. But it did a number on my fucking headspace, man.
Right. See, I got the second time I had the brain fog, and like just trying to explain how I felt was
Difficult.
a task. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, yeah. And I didn't think I had it until the test came back positive because I was like, I thought I had mono. I was so fucking tired. Never been so exhausted and just couldn't put together a thought like at all. I just feel like shit. That's all I can really say about it. Like,
Yep. No, I hear you, because I had to deal with
yeah,
it twice myself.
yeah. The first time I had it, that one though, I totally get why it was killing people because I went in and they were fucking testing me for this and that and everything else, and they were like, "You don't have anything," and I was like, "Guys,
That we
I'm
know.
dying." Right. This is February 2020. So,
Mhm.
Yeah, it was very early.
yep, yep.
Yeah, I got hit first time, I think March of 2020. So, and yeah, they still didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, the phase one was rough. That was the one that was killing people, man.
Yeah,
Like,
and no one knew what was going on.
yeah.
Where'd it come from? What do we do? How do we stop it?
I still have an inhaler that my doctor gave me because every now and then I just wake up and it's like I just took like a fucking 4-liter gravity bong rip. Like my lungs are just fried. And I'm like, cool. And I try not to smoke a cigarette within like the last hour before going to bed, first hour waking up, like things like that, like give my lungs time before I sleep. And I've been doing that for years. So like it's not because I had a cigarette before I went to bed. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna find those papers because it freaked me out at first. And then when I looked up the scar tissue, it really wasn't a big deal. Like, I don't know. It didn't even say it caused emphysema like symptoms. So I was like, cool, I'm cool with it. But I smoke, so that shit's gonna happen anyway. You know, like if that's what it is, it's bound to happen at some point.
All right, so ready check vote is up. Kaylee, I just realized I forgot to put the date down earlier, so you now have a time frame. I
Thank
think
you.
that's correct. I was also thinking about the series of events with Red Dreth falling down the hole, and thinking about how comical that really had to have looked, because you basically critical failed almost every roll on the way down, and then critically hit the landing.
And it has made my decision. My
Yeah.
next level, I am choosing gaseous form as one of my spells. Just saying.
Hey, fully justified. I like it. But
Yeah.
looking at it from an external perspective, and particularly to Haig in this case, you look at it, he got himself pretty beat up on the way down and then managed to stick the landing. You have developed a new level of respect for his physical abilities.
Nice.
And again, whether or not you want to admit it and how you incorporate it, is up to you. But deep down, you're just like, wow, I wouldn't have gotten through that as well. So, but in truth,
I got
though,
mad respect.
yeah, Haig is the only one
He's
that
the boss
actually
man.
witnessed the deftness of the landing. So that's between you and him. But you nailed it. All right, so Kaylee sitting on the outskirts. I know you've got a better solution for all of this. I'll let you wait it out until they've all been humbled, if you so desire. But we still got to get the three of you down, or all six of you back together, unless you're planning on doing a split up.
Are we splitting
Split the
party?
party,
Usually
split
not.
the party, split the party.
Splitting a party is not always the best idea, guys.
Unless you
Correction,
just
it's
want to
not
mess with the
ever
DM.
a good idea. Yeah.
No,
it's
it is
not
if you
ever a
just
good
want to
idea.
mess with the DM.
Like when I went into
The mysterious caverns with the smoke at each end.
Mhm. Oh, let's see. Combat tracker. So let's see. Egg, you are down here in the pit. And so is Red Jet. Where are you? Getting into better habit of making sure I pull the icons from the combat tracker. Thank you, Alex. All right, we still have one unchecked box. Who's missed it? Ms. Alex.
Sorry, that's me. That's me.
Oh, there you go, Matt. Okay.
My bad. I'm coming.
Not a problem. All right, so what is at least the initial party plan? Where are you going to try to all consolidate, or are we staying separate?
Do we want to get to the bottom of this hole, or do we want to get to where Fakish is?
Well, I'm assuming that there's probably not a whole hell of a lot going on at the bottom of the pit. So you guys can confirm that. I think the better part of Valor is probably where I'm at, but I'm not going anywhere until you guys figure it out.
the wizard totally
Meant to go all the way to the bottom. That's his story,
Yeah.
and he's sticking to it.
Yeah, I fucked up and caught myself halfway down. It's my fault.
You know, thinking
Okay.
thinking backwards, I did ask about anything like a slit in the stone or any buttons while I was hanging on the rope. Did you ever answer that?
I'm sorry, what was that question again?
I had asked a while back and I had forgot while I was hanging on the rope, did I see any slits in the stone or any operating mechanism to the
Just this slit in the stone that was asked about earlier. But honestly, as a mage and without any spells or anything else like that, your inkling is that the trigger is indeed some kind of magical trigger.
What I'm thinking about, if I have any extra, I do have a long sword in my inventory. If I could have wedged a long sword into the slit, but too late.
Well, I think Vark's gonna try and climb down the rope and get to Fakish at least.
I'll get my whip ready.
All right, so
Listen,
I
I
guess
got a plan. I just didn't want to be crazy and just step off the edge and fall all the way to the bottom. I have a plan now.
all right, so we're going to presume that you guys have no problem descending the rope to the basically 70-foot level, which leaves
Okay.
10 feet between your hands and the bottom of the rope. And actually, that's about right for you Goliaths, because you're what, about 9 feet tall anyway. So that puts your legs about the same level as the end of the rope, give or
Of
take.
course, I didn't even think
Think that I could have just misty stepped to the ledge too. Once I was partway
That
down
was
the
my
shaft.
that's
You
that's
coulda.
my plan.
but I didn't think of it.
So and
All right.
and it was such an awesome landing. It was totally worth it.
Yeah, or you can't buy respect, you know. All right, so that's what you're doing is the Misty Step then? From the
Yep.
Okay. I presume that's just marking off a spell point. I don't even think you need
Yep.
to make any roll or anything that you get over.
No, it's 30 feet.
Yeah, you're basically 15 to 20 feet away from it at that point.
Yeah, so I'll stand on the ledge with Fekish.
All right, and let's see. So, okay, Barak is now down here with Fekish. And I think at this point I could probably share the whole sheet. Now, hopefully you guys are not seeing more than what's also being shared on the Zoom screen.
I am seeing,
I'm seeing icons on a black backdrop.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
there
a
we go.
cross map.
Yeah, now I see the
Oh, there
cross
we go.
map.
Okay, yeah, you gotta give it a second for it to load. But you're
Okay,
just
hold
seeing
on.
that cross and that's it, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
Looks like I have a few holes that are causing some,
Yeah, I see a
Few shadows heading off to the left a little bit, but nothing that you can actually make out. So
yeah, those are probably
Yeah.
errors in my line of sight drawings, but I can fix those. And it looks like I'm also not exactly
of sight
catching the walls, so,
Errors. Line of sight errors are easy to make and difficult to catch.
yep, until you're actually playing. It looks like I gotta move them out a little
Yep.
bit so you guys can see the walls, but that looks good enough for now. As long as the hidden areas are not being exposed, that's the important part. All right, so I will point out for those of you, well, there's only 2 of you at this point that will notice it, but from what you can tell, each of those 4 statues are slightly different. And as we go through them, I'll describe them. But Varric has made his way down to the ledge with Fekish. We still have the mage and the other Goliath at the bottom, and the ranger and the druid up top. Who's going next?
Yeah, you got 2 people here to assist it at the very least now. So it's, I mean, Kaylee can just fly down.
Should be a walk in the park.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
presume Mizram can just turn into a spider and
Hop on.
down the.
Scurry down, yeah.
Or a ferret or a weasel or
Yeah,
maybe a bit of hair lice.
Mountain goat.
I will look at Kaoli go. If I turn into Weasel, will you pocket carry me down?
I by this point, I think I've made my way down to the center to
I
join
would
the.
hope so. Or Miz is kind of looking up at you, is like, are we going down or what?
Yeah, no, I think I've made my way down to the center, and yeah, in answer to Miz's question, I just kind of shrug.
And as you get closer, that reverb effect does fade.
Okay.
But again, it only applied to voices coming out of the shaft, not the people that were standing in the center of the amphitheater.
I
So-
will turn myself into Weasel then and let her carry me.
And then I presume it's
Okay.
just a little free action and a little directed floating.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you don't require a roll. And let's get the 2 of you onto the map. So then we've got Kaylee down here and Miz in some form and the next door. All right, so we're a little more consolidated now. We're only in 2 places and only 2 of you in one of them. And oh, look, a fireball goes off now.
I would like to go down the lower portion of the shaft and inspect the walls and see if I can see any more of those slicey traps.
All right, so you look down. You're looking down that one, correct? And
Yeah.
at the end of this 10-foot wide by 20-foot long arched hall to the south is a statue. Its features obscured by the 2-foot long shining blades that stud its body. The blades point back down the corridor towards the shaft.
Okay, that's not what I was doing.
Oh. What did
Sorry, I was flying down in there and inspecting the walls to see if there are any more of those slicey traps.
Ah, got you. My apologies. I thought you were looking for the more arrows like coming out of the statue. All right, no big deal.
No. I was looking for more slicey traps because if there are no slicey traps, then we can just drop some rope down. If there are slicey traps, then we might have to think a little harder.
So let's see. Search check, investigation, not a perception. You're specifically looking for something, not catching something that you're not looking
Yeah.
for. So yeah, let's do a straight up investigation.
Okay. Let's find the right one and drop it in the tower.
So as you come up and down the south portion of the shaft, you do not see any other openings that appear wide enough for a blade.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, this portion of the shaft does seem to be less polished and sheer. You would say there's a much better chance
Okay.
of being able to scale this shaft without tools or assistance than the upper portion.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna let them know.
Actually, it should be no
Let
problem.
Redruth and
It should be no problem for a Goliath to scale that shaft.
yeah, I'm gonna let Haig and Redruth know that as far as I can tell, it looks clear if they just want to climb on up.
I mean, can Redruth? Redruth's gonna have a hard time, but he can just bam.
Yeah, pretty much. Because it's kind of your home environment, you know. It's like, ooh, craggy rocks.
Piggy ride, piggy ride.
Yeah, it's probably the easiest way for him to get back up is just to hold on as you scale the cliff. He's not going to add that much weight to you if you're willing.
You want a piggy ride, Redruth?
Yeah, I can't miss
We
it.
step until we're within 30 feet, but sure, give it a shot. Although neither one of us has been rolling that well, this will end up killing both of us.
No,
Well,
like-
he said it should be easily scalable by me, so it should be fairly easy check.
yeah, this is kind of his natural terrain.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so you grab onto his back, and presuming that you don't lose your grip, which we're not going to bother checking for, yeah, you guys make it up to the top. And so now we have everyone back up top. I'll let you guys decide exactly where you want to position yourselves around the shaft, and then you can explore each or whichever one of the rooms that you want.
Yeah, I would like to. So you said the statue to the south has sword blades
So, yeah.
sticking
So-
out of it.
Does it say specifically what kind of blades? Let's see. Obscured by 2-foot-long shining blades that stud its body.
Okay.
That sounds more like it's coming out of the armor than necessarily anything else.
Okay.
Like he's a porcupine.
Yeah.
And then we already know the
Okay.
one to the east that Fecus checked out has a statue with 4 arms holding silver bows.
All right. I'd like to check for like trigger mechanisms.
Are any of the
Um,
statues not holding anything?
Well, you've only investigated 2 of them so far. You want to go check one of the others?
Sure.
Yeah, which one are you going to go look at? North one or the west one?
I'll go to the north.
North one. All right, so north is going to be this one.
Oh, okay.
This 10-foot wide corridor to the north is 20 feet long also, and at the end stands a statue of an Ifrit, its arms folded and its eyes hooded, its mouth opened.
Sorry,
Um,
I moved.
Varric, I meant to move me, so I went to
I was
investigate
wondering
the
what
west one.
happened.
So if you right click on the token, then there's a, at the, I believe it's the 6 o'clock position, there's a, yeah, it looks like somebody cleared it.
Red click. So you're going over there. Haley, where are you looking for traps and
You got
triggers?
really fast.
Alex?
Sorry. I'm checking down the south corridor. Fine. Looking for triggers, because if this thing's got blades sticking out of it, then and there's arrows pointed at us from another one, yeah, it feels like a trap. So I want to see if I can find it. I'm looking mostly on the floor, but I mean the ceiling as well, because I'm thinking it's either movement, it's either proximity activated or pressure plates.
All right.
Is my
So,
thought, but I will check walls and ceilings.
all right. So you're looking down this portion of the corridor. Go ahead and do an investigation. Meanwhile, Redreth is coming around the side over here. And he comes down this portion, and right about here,
Oh,
at the end of this last 10-foot wide by 20-foot long arched hall, is a statue of a woman with 6 arms and the head of a fish. The statue spans the entire corridor. In each hand is a gleaming sword with something dripping from it. As soon as Redreth gets to this point, he hears a click, and the statue itself begins to animate. All 6 of its arms begin flailing in multiple directions, and the statue starts moving down the corridor in a rushing posture.
Fantastic.
And Kaylee over here
Careful, Redrith.
is just shaking her head and grumbling to herself about people not waiting for the scout to finish.
And
So the
I,
guy who was
Wasn't even
Basically,
coming
you-
down the shaft.
Basically, you don't, you know the place is trapped now, and you don't let me finish doing my job. You just blunder around.
and me, I'm in a pocket with my head sticking out with my little tiny paws on the side of my face, doing the what the hell face.
Yep.
So meanwhile, this thing is rushing towards Redreth, filling up the entire chamber. Go ahead and do a dex check at -2. See if maybe you can make up for some of your earlier rolls.
All right. Second. Check it. Just a minute. All right. Okay, so I need to
Do a what?
Dex check at -2. check. 2.
But
Ouch.
I am going to use my chronal shift as a reaction,
Ooh,
which forces myself to re-roll it and use the new roll,
okay.
which it can't be worse, or it'll be a hard time being worse. So
Yeah, this is true.
Taking a little break.
Yeah.
There's a high chance of it being an improvement. And I rolled off my screen.
Just listening.
Yeah, that's
-2, so I still got a 12.
And what is your dex?
My dex is +3. So it was +1 instead.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so you managed to successfully dodge out of the way. And roll up here. We're going to hold off a second, Varric. And the
Nope, I
statue.
wasn't. I was just measuring.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
The statue continues down the corridor at a good clip, probably not twice as fast as most of you, but at least half faster. And when it gets to the very edge of the shaft, it stops. The arms stop flailing, and it begins a very, very slow reverse drag back into its original position. And it's going to take a little while. So it's moving slowly back into where it was, not unlike a spring being reloaded. Or
Is
Can
there
you get around it
Is it-
while it was at the edge?
no,
exactly? That's my
There's
question.
no way around it at any point in its trajectory or set path. It completely fills the corridor. Meanwhile,
Interesting.
Haley, despite noticing that the west corridor is indeed trapped, and double and triple checking, does not find any kind of trigger mechanism in the southern hallway.
Interesting.
All clear,
Okay.
guys. So Vark obviously heard and saw that. Can I do an investigation for my hallway before I approach this statue?
Haley? Alex?
Sorry, what?
I think Varric was asking you a question.
Oh no, I just asked if I could take a look
Oh,
as I
okay.
walk
I
down
thought
the
you were
hallway.
asking her to look. Okay, so you look down in
Hmm.
your hold. So do an
Real
investigation.
quick, my headset's about to die, so I'm going to be deaf for about a minute or so while I swap out my sound.
Okay, no problem. Ooh, very good job. Excellent. Excellent. So yes,
Yeah.
you notice about 10 feet down the corridor, a pressure plate.
Is it avoidable? Like I can just step over it?
Yes, you could,
Oh yeah.
especially at your size.
I would definitely, I don't know if I have any chalk or anything, but I will make, what do I got? I want to mark
You could
it
practically
somewhere.
carve into the sandstone with your sword, honestly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll use one of the sharper edges of my mace to just a little line in the stone. So, and I'll let everybody know I just marked the plate down this hallway.
Okay, so you step over the plate and come to take a look face to face at the statue at the north end. And yeah, it definitely is an Efreet. You get a bit of a chill in your body, realizing it's, a similar, its resemblance to the Efreet that you guys loosed earlier in this
Mhm.
adventure. Perhaps even a twinge of guilt about, oh boy, this is what I let loose on everything, especially for you and your brother.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
other than that,
I
it
think
doesn't.
I'm the one who actually pulled the plug.
Well, it still is a party responsibility, but okay. Kudos to you for taking responsibility. I'm sure there's still a sense that, well, we could have stopped her.
Does it?
Yeah, and I wasn't
Does
trying to open it. I was just trying to get the gem.
Is there any mechanism in the hallway that might turn off, like a switch or anything? Now that I'm at the near where it's, its trigger point is, comes from here? Is there any kind of mechanism to disable it?
Nothing that was obvious from your initial perception of the pressure plate, nothing, no wire or channel or other construct that appears to be leading from it, but you're welcome to do another search if you want.
I totally will.
And no, you do not see or come across any other kind of lever or switch.
Okay. So come back down the hallway, avoiding the pressure plate, and just let everybody know that I did mark the plate.
Okay.
So I wonder what would happen if we got all 4 statues to the edge of the hole at the same time.
And exactly how did you intend to do that? They take up the entire.
Right, we'll have to
Corridor.
dive out of the way. It's going to be tricky, but you know,
There is
something
room on the
interesting.
ledges around the shaft that you would be able to avoid the statues, but you're not going to get past them to
Okay.
whatever lies beyond them, if anything.
Have Indy do it. Makes the most sense.
Just a thought. Just a thought. I don't know. It's
Hey,
going to be
that's how you
somebody's
solve
going to get
problems.
hurt, but yeah. But it did seem odd that it came to the edge and went back. We can't get around it. So what if
It's
you know,
probably about a
having
quarter of the way back at this point.
Mhm.
And it literally sounds like, you know, a winch or a crank on a ballista or something like that, building up tension. Okay, so what next? We've investigated 3 of the 4 corridors at this point.
I will go over and investigate the eastern corridor, looking for traps. I'm still suspicious of that south corridor having a trap, but I cannot confirm it.
Go ahead and do an investigation check on the east corridor. And sure enough, you find yet another pressure plate about 10 feet down the corridor.
Yeah. I'm going to make sure that the group knows of my suspicions about the south corridor, despite the fact that I was unable to find anything. Just because you can't find it doesn't mean it's not there.
Very true. That's why you roll in towers.
Yep.
Then you know if you don't find anything that there's definitely not anything there.
So rundown on what each statue does again. One of them's got bow and arrow. One of them flails its arms. What were the other ones?
The one that Varric is near is an Efreet with its mouth open and eyes closed. And then I'm not sure if I've heard the description of the one to the east.
Of the one to the east,
Yeah.
that was the
Or
first
that's the one with, yes, with all the swords.
No, the one to the east is the one with the four arms and the 4
Oh.
arrows pointed.
Okay. My bad. I had it backwards.
And just to be clear, the swords are only on the 6-armed woman. The one on the south are blades like a pincushion coming out. They're not swords.
Blades like a pincushion.
So his
Matt, I see you
the
trigger
armor
the
on that
pad
one.
to see what it does.
Say again?
I was just telling my brother, maybe you should trigger it and see what it does.
The one on
Be
the
ready
south,
to see
the one on the south side or one of the others?
north.
Okay.
North.
Yeah. Okay. I have a feeling there's something coming out of that mouth. Just say.
My thought is there's no way forward. Maybe you have to do an offering to that one to make it move so you can get behind it. And if it's a freet, maybe a fireball in the mouth opens the door. But I don't know. It's to me, it's 50-50. Either something's coming out or something has to go in.
Right. That was my thought. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure if I trigger this, it's gonna a free, right? It's gonna be fire. It's gonna blast a fire fucking cone down this hallway. So could I, or you're right, and I gotta put something in the mouth. So I'm gonna cast Shield of Faith on myself, give me a +2 to my AC.
Okay.
Let me do that real quick. Well, it's gonna be a save, so never mind. We'll do that. I don't know what it's gonna be. Fuck it. I'm just gonna walk down the hallway and trigger the trap and be ready to dive out of the way when this thing comes down the hallway or whatever happens.
If I see him doing Shield of Faith, I'm doing Mage Armor.
You don't wanna, well, our rope is probably still attached above the shaft, so I can't pull you out of the way.
No, I would have untied it before I came down.
Okay. You want me to get ready to pull you out of the way in case something crazy happens?
Sure.
Keep in mind,
Yeah.
my rolls have sucked.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that gives me the help action, so it just gives me advantage on my save.
We shall see.
Yes. Oh,
Looks like Alvy's having a few issues getting back in.
How do I target myself? Control right click, right? Or left click?
Control left click.
Correct. Cool. I am going to cast my Shield of Faith.
Now, I did just get 2 errors. Control anchoring to an undefined control in window class combat tracker. That doesn't sound healthy.
That sounds like an extension issue, which seems odd because you only use the one extension right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't update the extension within the last day or so, you might not have the most up-to-date version.
Thank you. Reminds me, I also got to do Critically Awesome. So yeah, I got to do some extension updates after today's session. All right, so Varric is poised to walk forward.
Yes. And Haig has got the rope on me, ready to pull me back. Hoping to get the help action on my save.
So you step forward, you see the plate that you already marked, you step on it. And sure enough, there is a momentary crackle and sound of sulfur as a fireball bellows forth from the mouth of the Ifrit statue. The fireball in its ensconced form travels directly towards you. Reactions.
Yes. Diving out of the way, and Haig is pulling me out of the way.
Okay. He pulls you out of, go ahead and make a roll.
Oh,
Not that effective. So unfortunately, the fireball barrels past you, pushes you out of the way, does not detonate upon you, continues down the corridor, continues in towards the center of the room, and detonates exactly in the center above the shaft. The fireball proceeds to fill the entire corridor, all 4 side corridors, and both below and above the shaft for a distance of at least 30 feet. Sorry, guys, there is no save.
Well, I guess the Glyphs are having a crispy weasel for dinner.
All right, let's do these in order.
Redress would like to do the fling poo action.
So the first one, at least in the combat tracker, is Kaoli.
Just question, do I technically get cover if I'm in Kaoli's pocket?
That's a good question. Probably not in this case because it's pretty much all encompassing.
So you're about to tear her pocket.
I apologize. You're gonna have a full grown elf on top of you.
Beckish is going to take 19 points of damage.
Oh.
Kaoli took 16.
Okay.
Haig is up next. And is going to take another 20 points of damage. Mizram. Yeah, a bunch of one-click druid messages just popped up.
Yeah, I didn't click it
good.
earlier, so I had to put it on.
Oh, good thing you did it now. Let's see.
Yes.
You're seeing those rolls. Yeah, they're showing up. How do I prevent those rolls from being visible? Not that it matters here, but
You have to go to settings or options rather.
mm-hmm.
And then under game, chat, show GM roles, change it to off.
Gotcha. Script execution error. Actor showing damage. Trying to copy it over to him. Still shows him as being wounded though. Wait a minute. Why is your max HP only 1, Ms.?
Because he's in oh.
He's in weasel form. Did he just get blown up?
Yeah. The weasel just got blown up.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't take him out of, it doesn't just force him out of wild shape.
Yeah, doesn't it just change him back?
Yep.
Should,
it-
yeah.
It should. It
Yeah.
I
should
think
force
he's
him out of
still
wild
going
shape.
to. I think he's still going to be dead. Because that was, he only had 1 point of damage. That was twice what he needs for death.
No, but when
1
you're
point
wild
short.
shaped, then you. But
He's
when you
minus
take
19,
damage when
not
you're
minus
wild
20.
shaped, you just go
yeah,
back to.
the remaining damage would simply bleed over to his humanoid form.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's 1 point short to be considered what I consider a traumatic death. So he's safe there. And yes, I agree. So the point, he's going to be unconscious and the points are going to bleed. So convert yourself back over to a human form and take yourself down 19 points. And meanwhile, let me do Redreth and Varric. Good Lord, I'm getting a lot of these error messages. Redreth, you're going to take 21 points of damage from that. That's half.
21. Alrighty.
That's
Okay,
half
you
your hit
applied it. I
points.
see.
And then finally, Varric. Takes the most damage at 24, which I guess is appropriate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you set the damn thing off.
Yeah. Okay. maybe we don't trigger all 4. It's a very bad idea.
Make it back, Albie. You're on mute still. Not sure if you can hear us. Hopefully you got your headphones working. All right. Everyone has definitely been singed.
Yep.
Close call for Miz. I have a feeling we're not going to be seeing the weasel form too often in the future.
Reading up on how that works.
Yeah, I certainly hope it doesn't lead to a death scenario of the druid. That would be silly.
No, it shouldn't. It should just
I
transfer.
can
the
understand the weasel can
damage.
only take a point of damage, but hopefully it doesn't take out the druid entirely.
It wouldn't make sense for it to work that way.
No, I could see it there being some logic in there. It's like, yeah, you take on a certain form, you take on its weaknesses as well. And I do believe you guys have at least one resurrection or raised dead scroll that you picked up from town. So even if he does, we do have a way out. But yeah, that's not the way I want to see the druid go.
On a brown cow. Anybody hear me?
Yes, there we go.
Oh, hello.
Can you hear us?
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, I figured you were having audio issues.
I had to use my
Didn't have to
microphone.
do the
a lot.
poor time though. Hey,
What's that?
Varric just blew everyone up.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. My bad. I mean, we all thought it was a good idea for a minute.
That's
See what happened.
How it starts.
Yep. Maybe we don't trigger the
Well,
rest of them.
It's not that Kaylin thought it was a good idea. It's that she didn't have
Object.
a better idea.
And you didn't object.
Right.
Right. Yeah. No
Yeah.
one object to the idea.
I didn't object and I
so-
didn't have a better idea. So
it was
See how
worth
this
trying.
works.
But-
I see how this works.
but
When the
that's
wizard
different
steps
than-
on a plate, he gets tissed by everybody for the plate. But when the paladin manages to blow everyone up, everybody's like, oh, okay, it's fine. I get how this works.
Hey, I did it on purpose though. We knew it was about to happen. We just didn't know it was going to be, you know.
Yeah, we knew it was going to set off the trap. We just weren't entirely certain what kind of a trap it was.
You guys were just like, yeah, Var can get fucked up. It'll be okay.
The wizard does the speak to the hand gesture.
Yeah, we know what happened the last time you tried to take it on by yourself. We all did.
Yeah. So I'm
And
gonna.
just so you know, Albie, Fekish did take 19 points of fireball damage in that, but you did not fare the worst. The weasel got blown up.
Oh man.
I think we're confirming at this point that we only have an unconscious and not a dead druid, but the weasel is no more.
Oh man, I log out
Pop
for a minute.
goes the
He's
weasel.
not dead yet.
Just kill everybody.
Well, I guess that gives a whole new meaning to pop goes the weasel.
Exactly.
You?
Oh man.
So the
Second.
druid is unconscious.
Is he
And
stable?
then-
You?
Back in humanoid form.
I can give him a potion of greater healing. Or I could just hit him with some lay on hands.
Well, if he's unconscious, he can't take the potion. So
I could just jam it in his
Pour it down
mouth.
his throat.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll lay on hands and slap him with 10 hit points. Where is it? I don't want to smite him. There it is.
Another combat tracker error. I gotta make sure I get my extensions updated before I start blaming anyone.
How do I make lay on hands not give him all 35 hit points? Just gonna hit it.
You
19.
have to set it up. so that it has different amounts.
I flutter my eyes open and I look in the eyes and go, my savior.
Don't make this weird.
I knew you wouldn't leave me. I knew you wouldn't let me go.
Player's handbook. When you revert to your normal form, however, if you revert as a result of dropping to 0 hit points, any excess damage carries over to your normal form. For example, if you take 10 damage in normal form and have only 1 hit point left, you revert and take 9 damage. As long as the excess damage does not reduce your normal form to 0 hit points, you are not knocked unconscious.
Not knocked unconscious. Okay, so you're still conscious then. Just injured.
Sweet. Well, now you're good.
But yeah, the weasel is still popped.
Yep.
Does he make a popping sound?
No, no, no.
Oh,
Well,
that
I
would've
don't know.
been
He could have,
satisfying.
like a piece of popcorn.
like a little magical pop, maybe similar to a shoulder coming out of socket. I mean, what?
I will look Kaoli in the eyes and go, I'm sorry about that. I never experienced this before. I didn't mean to revert in my full elven size on top of you.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. It's like, that was kind of interesting to watch, I'm sure.
Yeah, I just kind of like shrug and like don't really say anything.
You mean pull yourself out from underneath him, right?
I do pull myself out from underneath him, but that's really about it. I just like don't acknowledge.
We don't
it at
talk
all.
about this.
I just basically look at your pocket and then just like
I could just see Kaoli going around pointing to each one of you going, we don't talk about this. Not a word. All right, so what are you gonna do about the other 3 statues?
Yeah, so we're all crispy. So 2 lunge at us, 1 throws a fireball. What's the last one? The one to the west is the one we haven't checked yet.
You check that one. That's the one with the one that did move forward with the 6 slashing arms.
Okay, so that one moves. The south one is the one that's the sword pin cushion.
Correct. And again, it's not wielding anything. It's part of the armor, like studded armor.
Gosh, which one is this? Which one is the one we have to figure out the puzzle to get past?
And I hate to say it.
It's the only one that moves.
I hate to say it because the DM's narrative always gets more attention than it should. But Kaylee did not find a pressure plate in the south corridor. Kaylee really should trust herself more.
True.
Oh, it wasn't it appears to be clear. It may have actually been clear.
Yeah, it was I didn't find anything, but the way the rest of them are, I'm still suspicious, but I really didn't find anything.
Oh, maybe we should go take another look.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
I'm kind of bleeding right now.
Are you bleeding out?
Oh, just suck up a health potion.
It blooded me pretty. I got 58 max and that's 24 damage. Shit. Just shy bloody.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to make use of my my greater healing potion.
Indeed. Unless Fekish has a ritual.
I do not have a ritual.
How do we roll? Just 4d4 plus 4 hit points. No.
All right, so the DM question is, who's going to recheck out that corridor?
Okay, well, I'll do my 1d4 if Fekish doesn't have something immediately for healing, I will do my 4d4 plus 4.
I will.
Yeah, how do we roll that?
Let her loose.
Just
I'll go.
drag a
Or over the 4 dice, and then as you're dragging it over, right click while you're holding the dice in the air, and you'll add another dice to it.
Okay. I see. Okay.
So I get 8 plus 4, so I
Get
get
12 back.
Kaylee would actually like to cautiously float down that corridor and
14. Solid.
see, because she can like not activate pressure plates because she can fly.
That does help.
I didn't mean to do that.
Didn't mean to
I
do
don't
what?
undo my wounds. I wounded myself again.
Stop doing that.
Stop hitting yourself.
I wanted to take 14 damage off, and it added 10 damage. I was just a little too quick and chipped one of my teeth with the bottle of the potion, I guess.
Damn, 14 points of damage to a tooth?
Knocked a motherfucker right out.
Yeah, no shit. Sounds like it took part of your upper jaw with it too.
Right. Yeah, how do I change my damage?
Or proportion of your earlobe. Hey, look, it's Mike Tyson. Sorry, Vander Hollefeld.
Mike Tyson has CBD gummies in the shape of ears.
Oh my, the irony. The irony. All right, so Kaylee, you're approaching or floating, shall I say?
Yes.
All right, so you notice as you float closer and get within about 5 feet or so, you can see that there's a lot of detail to the armor, as a matter of fact, and it appears, from what you can tell, that there is actually a door handle within the blades ensconcing the armor.
Okay. Interesting. Does it appear to be trapped?
Feel free to do an investigation.
All right.
You find no indication of trap nor trigger.
Okay. I will attempt to use the door handle as a door handle without getting stabbed by blades.
Well, would you look at that? A door opens into a chamber. Reveal a 30-foot square room, the walls of which are covered with ornate runes. Against the center of the south wall, there stands a large statue of a man with his arms folded across his chest. A crook in one hand, a flail is in the other. There are doors at the far south ends of both the east and west walls.
Okay, I'm going to float in around the statue and take a look around this room.
Interestingly enough, as you enter the room, you notice a trail of platinum pieces that runs from the center of the room up to the base of the statue. I guess there's somewhere between 50 and 100 pieces, platinum pieces on the floor. However, with that,
trail of platinum pieces.
So with that, and before we allow further exploration, I'll let you guys consider what the rest of you want to do, but I do need to take a quick break. So let's meet back here in 10 minutes.
Right on.
And
All
that
right.
hopefully should be our last break before we finish up today.
All right.
See you in a few.
I got a work call. What I miss? It's quiet.
We're on
We
10
threw
minute
you
break.
down we threw you down the shaft as a sacrifice to open the door.
Yep,
Sweet.
and got a bunch of platinum. No, we found a trail of platinum, and then we're taking a break.
Found a trail of platinum.
Well, Kayla did. Yeah.
Okay, I am back. Let's do a ready check.
Hey, Keith, there's something locked on my page. I can't change my wound. That's why I ended up dragging 10 more hit points.
Oh,
This is just not letting me change it.
that seems really strange.
Right?
It's not letting you change it in the combat tracker or on your main page, on your character sheet?
Both. Both.
That's odd. You
Punishment for
should be able to
injuring
change it on your
yourself.
So what
character
should you be
sheet.
at?
I should be at 10 wound. Thank you. Yeah, because it was 44 plus 4, so it was minus 14. I had 24 damage.
Penalty for self-inflicted damage.
Yes. And I mean, I could clear all the wound, but I do want to save. I think I hit
Go ahead and see if you
Mizram
can
with
edit
19.
it now.
Right there. No,
Is there
like it
some
lets
kind
me
of new,
hover over it.
Alex, is there some kind of new setting that prevents players from modifying their stats? Or
Should be.
can anyone else modify their wounds?
I was able to.
See.
I had no problem.
Yeah, I can modify mine.
That's weird.
Hey, Matt, what are you
Just
doing?
set mine back to what they should be.
I don't know.
When we end up the session, let's release and reclaim your character and see if that makes a difference for next session.
Okay. Yeah, so let me do like literally everything else with the character sheet, but change the wound.
It does seem
And hit points.
strange, indeed.
Oh, I just gave myself 58 temporary hit points and cannot change it.
Oh, you can do that.
Well, I just dragged
I
my
guess that's
max
a
hit point
workaround.
over by accident.
All right, our singed friends, how are we all doing? I need 2 more check marks. One of them's the monitor.
I hit mine.
Who's the last one?
I hit mine.
Albie, Miz,
I'm good.
Mine.
Jim.
Yeah.
I did mine.
Must be miss.
That leaves Dan.
No, I'm in.
All right, who just hit it? Fess up.
I know I'm the second to last, so unless the order shows different for everybody.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. There's no real way to tell who it maps to each one, even on the DM side, which is kind of dumb, but oh well.
I think it's different on every screen.
Yeah, I think it's more dependent on login order and stuff too. So, and of course, if someone hops back in, it gets changed around. So, anyway, so you guys have found yourself another 30 by 30 room, and I'm just realizing. Let's see. I don't have a grid in here. Let's see if I can.
I'd like to take a look around and see. Whoa, that grid's very prominent now.
Yeah, let me lower the intensity on it. Give me a second.
Could we maybe tone back the grid a little, please?
What I'm looking for is how to bring it back down again for the intensity.
Okay, you unlock the map and then you go to the grid button and then go to color change and then just change your transparency.
There we go. All right, let's see.
It's a little better.
I'm going to get this aligned on the grid. That's something I screwed up on. Oh well. Is that okay? Is that visible and not too visible for everyone?
Stronger than I like it, but it's definitely readable now. No longer
What- what-
overpowering.
Let me try.
And that's the most important thing is for
cool.
it to not be overpowering.
How's that? I can barely see it, to be honest with you. It kind of fades in, especially with the cobblestone.
I'm colorblind, I don't count.
Yeah, I know. We'll find one more color. See. We'll go with that. Let's see if I can adjust the positions a little bit. So it's not a little bit.
Well, as much as I've grown accustomed to using my headset, it's nice to know my studio mic still works.
Yes. Apparently better than mine does.
Always nice to know when your backup equipment works.
Well, once upon a time, this was my primary equipment.
Well,
Yeah, I used to do internet radio.
So can we see where Kay Lily went?
You can see she went through a door. She opened up a door. Basically, it's wide open.
Yeah.
Pulled it open and
Are
you
you
can see into this room now.
You're
yeah,
still
you should be able
scouting?
to see where I went. Yeah,
Just
I'm
step on the plate she flew over.
the plate that I didn't find. Yeah, I'd like to inspect this room and see if I can find anything interesting about the room, the doors, or the statue.
Okay, unfortunately, it does not give me very much detail about the runes. They are not the characters that you've become familiar with translating. They are completely alien to you.
Okay.
The statue itself is wow, really? Large statue of a man with his arms folded across his chest. Doesn't even say what it's made of. Crook in one hand, flail in the other. And the doors that you can see on the map. And that's pretty much all the detail that it has, plus the trail of platinum pieces.
Okay, so there's a trail of platinum pieces,
Goes from
and
the center of the room up to the statue. So it doesn't even cross the room.
interesting. Does it? Can I tell if it looks like the the platinum pieces look like they're supposed to be part of a trap?
That's kind of hard to say. I'd say let's do an insight check and see what inferences you can gain.
Sorry, I can barely hear you. What kind of a check did
Sorry.
you want me to do?
A insight check. Sorry. See what kind of inferences you can gain.
Okay.
Really want to know what the hell is up with my mic.
Gremlins.
I literally have to turn
think
everything up
it's-
when I'm working in Zoom, but I never hear any complaints when I'm in Discord. And I know people
Whatever you
adjust the
changed.
visual volume.
Whatever you changed just now totally changed it. So I don't know if it's proximity or what, but you
Yeah, I
sounded
think it is
fine after the
proximity. I
change.
mean, I took off all the filters earlier too. Pop filter and the noise filter. Things practically shoved down my throat at the moment.
Yeah, and I know that's annoying, but
I think it has something to do with the noise suppression inside Zoom. I think it's overcompensating for something.
it might be. So I rolled.
I wonder if that'll have any improvement. I just changed it from automatic to high. So hopefully you won't get too much background noise, but still be able to
Okay.
hear me. All right. So yeah, this room really doesn't seem to have too much detail that you can concern, just that it seems ornately carved.
Okay, and as far as I can tell, the coins don't seem to be part of a trap.
No, you don't have anything that seems to, I mean, if it was meant to lead to something, it's very obvious, but it doesn't lead from anywhere obvious.
Okay.
I mean, it's entirely possible it is a trap. And given that the other things that you have run into traps in this crypt already, it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that there's more. But there's nothing specific about this that says, oh yeah, this has to be a trap. You don't see a trigger, you don't see
Okay.
a kind of mechanism. I mean, you could possibly do have one of your magic users do a detect magic and see if there's anything like that in the area, but nothing that sets you off or triggers your suspicions.
Okay.
And
in
after the last incident, you're having a bit of an internal conflict of, hey, remember, trust my instincts.
Yeah. I'm going to. What the hell?
Or,
I'm going
wait,
to very cautiously.
Don't let your instincts override your skills.
Yeah. I'm going to. I'm going to very cautiously use the tip of my bow to nudge some of the coins
Okay.
out of line and see if there's any reaction.
They seem to move without effort. They sound like metal scraping across stone. And you see no other reaction to their motion.
Okay. Okay, let's scoop one up.
You have collected a platinum piece.
Cool. Nothing else seems to happen in reaction to that, so that's pretty awesome. Yeah, let's bring in the others and collect the platinum pieces and decide which door to open next. Can I listen at the two doors after I motion my companions to come in and
I don't see
pick
any
up some
reason why you
pieces?
wouldn't.
Okay, oops, wrong screen.
And I'm going to go ahead and add
All
the
right.
platinum pieces directly to your inventory. Okay.
Okay.
Since you're the one picking them up at the moment. If you want to share them, that's your
Yep.
choice. All right.
And
so
then I'm going to
everyone is
listen
moving
at
forward.
that door.
Okay, and listening at that door, you hear no sound coming from that room.
Okay. There doesn't seem to be, does the door appear trapped?
Go ahead and do your investigation.
Okay, finding that
What?
one.
I didn't say open the door.
You do not, once again, no sign of trigger or trap mechanism.
Okay.
What's this statue look like?
This statue is of a man with his arms folded across his chest, a crook in one hand and a flail in the other. So pretty much your standard Egyptian sarcophagus type statue.
Okay. Does Redriff want to detect magic?
Meanwhile, I'm going to come over to that door and listen at the door and search for traps.
I certainly can detect magic if you would like me to.
Well,
I'd
you'll
like to
have to come,
save
you'll have to come
my
into the
spell
room.
slot for some schmiting, just in case.
All right, Kaylee, you find neither sign of trap nor hear any sign of sound. Both doors seem equally uninteresting and unnoteworthy.
Okay.
Now, can I get to the room without setting off a trap, or was there no traps in this hallway?
There were no traps in the hallway that I could find. I did recommend to be cautious, and I did fly over instead of walk over. But yeah, you can.
At this point, Fekish and Barak have crossed into the room without setting anything off that they are aware of.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to the middle of the room and just kind of indicate that, you know, both doors seem safe. Doesn't sound like there's anything happening, and which way you want to go?
Well, it's a ritual, so it's gonna take me, what, 11 minutes to do. So if people want to sit and hang out, I can do detect magic.
I'm cool with it. I'd rather not burn a spell slot to see it happen. You know,
So I will just settle myself right against the wall and let people know I'm going to take the 10 minutes to cast this. So there we go. So everybody can take a quick breather and, I don't know, get some food if they want to or whatever. And I will take the time to cast that.
All right, so you cast the ritual and your spell goes off 10 minutes later without any interruption. But regrettably, there is no sign or indication of magic anywhere in this room.
all right. I will slowly approach the statue and just make sure it's not a sarcophagus.
I will channel my best inner Schultz from Hogan's Heroes and say, I see nothing.
Okay, Matt, that was you that's going up to the statue?
Yes. Being mindful of any pressure points or anything. I know Kaylee said the room was good, so I'm just, you know.
Well, you seem to be okay.
Cool.
And it does seem to be your standard kind of sarcophagus type statue. There may or may not, it may or may not open. There may or may not be something else on the inside, but it does also appear to be on a pivot point.
I'll let everybody know that I see that there is a pivot point. It seemed like we could turn it towards the doors. Are the doors locked, Kaylee?
I didn't actually check.
The pivot point is off to one side. It's not central, so it appears to be some kind of sealed door, not unlike the one that brought you into this room. There's just doesn't appear to be a handle.
I'll look at Kaylee and be like, should I just push the statue over?
Go forth and pivot.
I'm just gonna kind of shrug, like, it's up to you.
I will heed Fekish's
recommendation.
Call out, yes. And I will pivot.
And as you
I'm
pivot,
gonna take a few steps. I'm gonna take a few steps back if he's gonna try and pivot that thing.
Seems reasonable. But upon pivoting,
Oop.
I wouldn't say it opens easily, but for Goliath, it definitely is an easy shift of weight. You
Better than a
open
weasel.
the large concealed door slash statue. And
Nice.
you see more beyond.
Okay.
Oh, fun.
That doesn't look trapped at all.
Well, what
I will
what you
go-
can't fully see from the map, unfortunately, is that those are not walls on the side there, but actual it's a bridge or something going over a very black void.
Oh,
Ooh.
Super. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to, I'm gonna,
Let me read the description. So behind the
Okay.
concealed door is a long 10-foot wide bridge stretching toward the south across a deep chasm. The walls of this room, 20 feet away on either side of the bridge, extend 30 feet above the bridge and drop into unyielding darkness below. They parallel the bridge as far as can be seen. Long, heavy strands of moss and mold dangle down from the sides of the bridge, dripping into the darkness below. The chill of death is in the air, and soft moaning cries swell up from the void beneath the bridge.
mm.
interesting.
So do
yeah,
we
I'm
want to
gonna-
check the doors to the east and west before we head down the bridge?
That would be a good thing to do, yeah.
Or should I
could.
divine sense? I could divine sense and see if there's
I
anything
still have
lurking.
detect magic going. I can come and take a look.
I'm just gonna kind of float across the threshold of that doorway and just see what happens.
Well, I'm still sitting along the wall. Let me know if you need me to come up. Otherwise, I'm just going to pull out some rations and munch on a ration while I drink my water and whatnot.
I guess, let's see. Kaylee's heading on down there. There we go. Okay, Varric.
Yes.
Probably may have wanted to point this out before you moved, but we can move you back if you choose.
Yes.
Upon opening the door, you do your senses tingle. Your spider sense goes off.
Oh. Yeah, I'll let Kelly know that then. What's
There,
up?
there is undead beyond this doorway.
Yay. We like
Okay.
undead.
Yes.
That
My
makes
favorite.
sense.
Red
All right.
Dress,
Red Dress lights up a little fire on his fingers. He says, "Fireball time."
Not yet. So if nothing happens when I enter, then I'm gonna come back and just kind of consult the group. Which way do we want to go?
I mean, I'm dead.
We can go smite undead. I mean, I just want to
Big
make sure that
monster.
whatever way I go, that the rest of the group's with me.
But the completionist in me is like, we have to open these doors and at least take a look.
I know. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
And just a reminder, we're down to about our last 15 minutes of today's session as well.
Well, I will, yeah, let's check these doors out then. Let's see what, I'll
Okay.
go to the east door here and see if it's locked.
It does not appear to be locked.
I will. I'll open. Okay.
So within this room is a plain 20-foot square room. Walls are smooth marble panels. Very little, if any, detail in this room.
Be a good spot to sleep. Anybody want to check the other door?
The wizard hasn't moved from his place sitting on the floor after all the tisking he got when he checked something out earlier.
Don't be dramatic, wizard. You can check the door.
No, you're mad.
I mean, last time, every time I seem to do this, shit blows up. So I mean, it's twice now I've blown up a few people.
Well, that was also with party consensus, to be fair.
Sure, for sure.
You don't deserve all of the blame. Just
Yeah,
a good portion of
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not your fault. We all decided that you could be an idiot.
it. Decided he could be, or decided it wasn't worth the fight.
It
Both.
wasn't worth the fight.
I mean, yeah.
I can either spend an hour arguing with him or 5 minutes saying I told you so.
Exactly.
Well, I'll check both doors.
All right, so Varric, you're going over to this door. Also appears to be unlocked, simple latch.
I'll give it an open.
As you reach for the handle and latch onto the handle, this one gives you a sense of chill beyond.
Ooh. I'll say this one could be fun. I'll throw it open.
Okay. You throw it open to reveal yet another 20 by 20 room. However, this one, oh shoot, I made a slight error.
If he's saying this one could be fun too, I'm going to be taking my healing potion now too, before we enter the room.
I made a slight screw up. I don't think it's going to affect gameplay too much, but give me a moment to set this up. Don't get too scared when this pops up. Oh, you might not even see it. Okay.
Dang, bro.
Seriously,
Three
bro.
ones, dude. What the fuck?
You guys are not having good luck with your rolls today. Definitely not.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
It's just stupid.
All right. So inside this room, what immediately grabs your attention are the 5 hunched figures that move in the shadows of this 20 square foot room.
Oh,
And to the
lovely.
paladin, they are apparent right away, but to fantasy grounds, I have to coax it. So give me a moment. Let's see. I'm not identified. That's what I'm looking for. Where did you all go? Ding, 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 ding.
Oh yeah.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, Elohir is gets her bow out as soon as she realizes that there's things on the other side of the door.
Oh yeah, as soon as Varric saw that, he let out his battle cry. He's making his
How well
way.
can you see?
in-
Oh, okay, yeah, you can see what they are.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, can we see what they are yet?
All right,
Oh,
go
yeah.
ahead and roll your initiative, everyone. And with that, do we want to try to squeeze in one round of combat or save next session for a fresh combat?
Let's start next session.
Kind of what I'm thinking.
Hopefully,
We'll
Haig
have a
has
full
better
chance to
rolls
roll.
next time, next session.
Yeah, seriously.
Fucking
It definitely leads
six,
to an
dude, for
exciting
your-
event.
Well, it looked like the cleric really wanted to get his hand on some undead being the top of initiative.
Yeah, best roll I've had all day.
You what? I can see it now. You're just gonna Leroy Jenkins in it, charge in there, and then use your special cleric ability and just disintegrate them all. And be like, yep, that's
Interesting.
done.
It doesn't reveal the initiative order to you guys anymore, does it?
It
It
did
reveals our
before.
initiative order, just not the creatures, and that's how it was before.
No, that you
Right.
actually do not see the init rolls for them anymore. And the order that I have shows a different order than what you guys are seeing based on what I have shared
Yeah.
in Zoom. So
Yeah,
it just
that's
groups.
I was gonna
it all
say
together.
that's how it was before.
No, last time I
Pretty sure
remember
that's how it
doing
was before.
combat, it still was. Well, you know what? Maybe I wasn't paying attention to the player screen.
I mean,
But
maybe
yeah,
we
I
had
thought
one
it always
broken,
kind
but
of showed
usually-
you when the opponents were going to show up, which I thought was a little bit of too much reveal, but I didn't care that much. But all right, cool. So yeah, you don't know actually who really gets to go first.
Well, by the
So
by,
amongst
I've
you
got
guys,
shit
that
ton of
Fecus
work
is
to
going to
do.
go first.
I have a shit ton of work to do, so I'm gonna boogie out. Thanks, guys, and I'll catch you guys in a
Yeah,
couple
see you in a
weeks.
couple weeks, man.
All right,
Sounds
take
good.
your
Albie,
good
I'll talk
time.
to you
Take
soon.
your
Have fun
good time.
tonight.
Right out.
Couple weeks.
Love you, man. All right, so we will begin next session, which is, what's the date on that? It's going to be just before Thanksgiving, isn't it? No, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. All right, so
12th.
November 12th. I guess that's right after Veterans Day.
sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah, the only ever message I saw today, before I entered the game, was showing up for the extension for the
Druid.
creature, druid shape shifting one. That's the only one I
I
saw an error
have to
for.
update the extension on my end, I'm pretty sure, so I have to do a couple of updates.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
hopefully
just thought I'll
the
give you a
message
heads
will
up,
go away.
so at least you know which one it might be to narrow it down for you.
Yeah, I needed Alex to remind me. It's like, have you updated your extensions? I'm like, oh
Gotta
yeah.
make sure those extensions are updated, or it doesn't do much good.
Yeah, well, I remember to run the game updates, but yeah, I keep forgetting.
Oh, there you go. That was helpful. I would have had to do some revert to my backups if you hadn't.
Yeah, why are you connecting
I-
using the version that was released 5 months ago?
Yeah, if you hadn't updated to 4.3, I would have had to go backwards.
There's been a lot more of those warning messages from them lately too about yeah, once you update, you're not going to be able to go back. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let me back up.
They've been doing a lot more breaking updates
Mm.
lately. So
And the question is, are they actually fixing some things along the way?
I know that some of them are just laying the foundation for other things.
Other content or getting ready to build it on the newer engine?
New features.
Okay.
New features. They've been working a lot on getting some new features. This one was the
They definitely need
the
some more
dice
automation.
skins.
I'm beginning to very much empathize with Mrs. points about how much work it requires to get stuff set up. It takes a lot of time to even just lay out a map in here.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Between the lines of sight and the
That's-
walls and getting all the encounters predefined.
Yeah, that's
If you have your storyline completely laid out, getting it functional inside Fantasy Grounds is not a small feat.
I can't.
no, it's not.
I can't comment. I did hear like there's some software that allows you to download the maps into Ground. It basically put the line of sight in for you. That if you would dungeon draft, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. I definitely know it does for Foundry tabletop, where basically I can get my battle map, and then just put it into Foundry, and it'll do all the line of sight and everything for me.
Yeah, if you're using
Yeah,
any kind of map program where you're using differentiating between walls versus floors versus objects, it should be very, very easy for them to, just port that over and figure out what things are going to block line of sight and what things are just going to obscure it or not cause an issue at all. But if we have to sit there and go through, yes, this is a wall, yes, this blocks line of sight, yes, this is hidden or not hidden, for every object that we draw. Or like one thing which I've noticed.
I will talk to everybody in 2 weeks.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining
Thank
us.
you. You take care of yourself.
Yeah. Take care.
But
And actually, I should probably go ahead and kill the recording at this point. So
yeah.
yeah, we'll see you everyone in about 2 weeks.